Okay, hi, hello, welcome in, welcome back. I will be decorating and making a prop for my stream background for you guys to see over on my Twitch. Ta-da! I stream every Tuesday and Thursday over on Twitch, and I'm very, very grateful for all the support so far, and we are currently making our way to 1,000 followers. It's kind of crazy, and it's kind of huge, but if you are interested, you can check out all my links down below. If you have no idea what I'm doing, let me explain. I was asked to make a prop for my stream, and I thought it was a really good idea, and I have never really done anything like this before, so let me tell you a little bit about what's going on. So we went to Spirit Halloween, and if you have never been there, it is this magical place that opens up around, I'd say, mid-September, and it has all kinds of cool stuff like decorations and costumes and props and items, and sometimes blankets and pajamas and clothing, and it's pretty interesting. What I found were these bags of bones, and I loved them instantly. The first thing I thought about was, wow, that kind of looks like a totem from Dead by Daylight. I bet you I can make something like that. And my partner on Otaku was like, why don't you do something like that for stream? You could make something for the background of your stream. And I was like, wait a second, that's actually a really good idea. So that's what we decided on doing. I have been playing Dead by Daylight for about 750, 800 hours now. I predominantly play on PC. I also play keyboard and mouse, and I also play with controller, and I am a Survivor main. So recently I have been playing a lot of Quentin Smith and Fong Min, and you may have seen some other characters and stuff from my videos, but that's me. That's me, baby. For those who don't know much about Dead by Daylight, let me explain a little bit so you can get caught up on the things that you've missed. For those who don't know much about Dead by Daylight, this is a video game that you play online with friends, and you are in a team of 4 people, and there is one killer. You are all placed on a random map that is randomly selected, or you can bring something that brings you to a specific map if you like to be in a specific place. And what happens is, if you like competitive hide and seek, this is the game for you. If you've never played it, this is a wonderful place and a wonderful magical it's a good time, trust me. I was introduced to Dead by Daylight by a few friends of the community, and it was right around the time when I stopped playing Rogue Company, and I loved that game. I didn't play it as much as Dead by Daylight, and unfortunately Rogue Company fell off. So now we're doing Dead by Daylight. That is all the rage these days. You see a lot of streamers and people make content about it. And essentially, your goal is, if you are a survivor, you and your teammates are supposed to complete 5 generators, as well as smaller micro tasks around the map each match. The idea is to survive and leave the exit gates once they're powered by the generators. If you are a killer, your idea is to kill the survivors and get as many kills as possible. And each character has their own backstory about how they wound up in the game. There's even a spin-off game called The Casting of Frank Stone, which I played a little bit as well on stream, and I am really excited to release that footage for you guys as well. So not only are you going to be completing 5 generators, there's also chests to look through, things you can do to help your teammates. There's things you can do to hide from the killer, and of course, totems. Totems are a addition to each match. There's about 5 of them on each map that you get to cleanse, and we have a small saying in my community. We call them croutons, and for those that are hexes, we call them spicy croutons. So essentially what you need to do as a survivor is take care of these totems as well, and what they do is serve a function that adds buffs and debuffs if you are a survivor, and even killers can use these as well. They come up as 3 different things. You can have dull totems, you can have boons, which are for survivors, and then you have hexes, which are for killers. And when you go into a match, essentially you are given 4, depending on your level, you are giving 4 slots where you can bring different kind of powers to change the way that your gameplay goes, essentially. And killers have this ability as well. So some of these perks allow the totems to do different things. Some of them are good for hiding your scratch marks or for recovering faster if you're slugged on the grounds, even healing your teammates quicker. It can be very helpful and resourceful, but you got to make sure that you do it right. Also for killers, you can use it to change the way the fate of your game works, and you can even hinder somebody, slow them down, you can make them exhausted, you can change who the obsession is. So there's different ways that you can utilize the totems. They're very helpful, and at first I definitely didn't pay enough attention to them, but they are a wonderful addition to the game. Killers can see their hexes, and basically when a killer is on a map, they have a pretty decent view of everything. They can see the generators. Sometimes they can see your auras, so they can see where you are on the map depending on what they brought, and they can see their hexes. They get a audio notification when a survivor cleanses them, which means to break them down. And some hexes, if not all of them, can be brought back if the killer chooses to, and most of them do, which is great. And if it is done right, even survivors can turn the dull totems into boons as well, which alerts the entire map, all the players, with like kind of like a rolling thunder sound. There's a saying in the community called "if it glows, it goes," which means depending on who you're playing as, either killer or survivor, if you see it glowing, get rid of it. Essentially what that does is collects points. Essentially all of these matches, you're just trying to get as many points as possible so that you can level up your character and get more items, perks, etc. You can even, as a survivor, use cleansing totems as a benefit to you. You can be a little bit more selfish in your altruism, which essentially means healing, unhooking, and surviving. And I definitely have used a build like this on Jill Valentine, where I would have perks that would cleanse a totem, and I would activate another perk that would allow me to jump into a locker to heal any injuries that I have. So essentially, I didn't need self-care or a med kit. I can just go inside a locker. These things can be very, very helpful and useful if you need something like that. So let's get into the prop. And I'm really excited, and I hope you guys enjoy the craziness about what is to happen. Essentially, what I bought at the beginning was a bag of bones, and I looked at what I had, essentially, and I was like, you know, I should be able to make a totem out of this. And upon looking at the model, as you can see here, is that there are 3 skulls, and it's kind of shaped into like a TP form with a triangle of bones at the base. We've got some candles in there, and then we have some extra design assets, like maybe a spine or some dangly things on it, and some like wire or hemp to like wrap arounds. Now, I knew going into this it wasn't going to be perfect, and I knew that the process of going into this wasn't going to be perfect, because I've never made anything like this before from a video game. I'm not somebody who does random stuff like this, but I thought it was definitely worth the challenge. So what I had essentially done, as you can see in footage, is a lot of struggling with Gorilla Glue hot gun. I tried to find something that was in my budget range that wasn't going to break me, and something that was a little bit familiar. I know things like hot glue. I know that, you know, once it dries out, it's essentially you can peel it off your skin, so the danger of it was a lot less to me. And if I had used just the bottle of liquid glue, I definitely would have been way more cautious than all the fiddling that I did to make this prop. I did get glue on my thumb maybe twice. It wasn't bad. I am very much used to high heat and high temperatures, but that isn't to say that you shouldn't be careful while using super glue or gorilla glue. Okay, please practice safely, and please have, you know, a bucket of water or something to like dip your hands in. These bones were so frustrating to try and figure out because I struggled a lot with trying to learn how to use these really round surfaces and sticking it to other round surfaces. So kind of like how your knee sits on a cap and it moves, right? Well, I'm trying to figure out how to use a small surface area and then try and gluing it to a surface area that's also curved. So I'm trying to like angle it and figure out the right way to do it. I got progressively frustrated until it hit me. I should just try and use the a little bit of cardboard and perhaps a little bit of plastic. So what I ended up doing is that you can see I ended up gluing the cardboard to the surfaces of the plastic to try and give it a little bit more structure, something that the glue can hold on to. That was my first thought, because just it sitting on it by itself, if I didn't have clamps, that's probably another thing that would have helped to kind of allow the glue to set properly. That would have helped immensely. Maybe I probably shouldn't have used Gorilla Glue glue sticks. I probably could have found some better modeling glue or some kind of like cement of some sort to try and like keep this stuff together. Another thing I could have done differently is etching the plastic. So I could have taken like a sharp tool or something and just scoring the surface of the plastic so that the glue had something to hold onto. Kind of like if you do pottery, you know, if you're like adding like something to a bowl, you would etch it and then you could stick a handle onto it, or like for a cup or something. That kind of idea. I could have done that. I should have done that to just make my process a little bit more quicker. But honestly, it didn't turn out too bad. And then when I got one attached, I was like, oh, this is kind of perfect. It kind of works. And then I just started doing that for every one of them. And eventually, here we are. We are sitting here with plastic skulls on a stick. But honestly, it turned out really well. Now that everything was kind of setting and drying, now was the struggle of trying to figure out how to make the TP part of it. And at first I thought, you know, let me just glue the skulls together. That would work. Surprise, it didn't work. I had originally thought of just because the glue got so hot, I figured that it would kind of mold the skulls in plastic a little bit because of the heat, so that if you press it together, these shapes would come together as flat and then it would stick together. But no, it didn't work. And because the Gorilla Glue in that texture takes forever to dry, anyone who works with glue sticks know that you have to wait like overnight for it to like really hit rock solid, especially if it's on the right material. It's not going anywhere, not unless you intentionally peel it off, which unfortunately, because of the way that I had to fix a lot of my mistakes, I had to peel off a lot of the hot glue. And thankfully it was cooled down. I wouldn't touch hot glue if it was still hot. Don't hurt yourself. That is stupid. Don't be stupid. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay. But I ended up trying to pick some of that stuff off. You know, I'm thinking to myself, even now that I'm commentating, is that maybe if sandpaper or something could have helped make an abrasive kind of edge to it, that could have helped as well. Perhaps even if we had fancier tools, we could have even screwed them all together so that they definitely wouldn't go anywhere. There's many ways that you could make a totem as big as this one that is definitely more solid than just glue and string and wire. So I ended up getting all of this stuff together, and then the problem was, okay, well, if this skull sits forward, how does this skull sit and how does the other one sit? Trying to figure out how it should look on stream in comparison to being more unique to the game. So then I got really frustrated for a lot of it, and then I was like, okay, let me just like set them up in a way that looks like it's just the three skulls, because the way that it sits, you have these 3 different points. And I'm like, well, maybe we should focus on that. And then I tried wiring everything together before I glued it just to see if I liked the shape. I ended up finding something that I actually kind of liked. And I was like, great, okay, let me try and glue this down. Let me see if it works. And then little did I realize that it wouldn't hold structure. It was practically a flat surface and there was nothing to support it. And I'm like, well, that defeats the purpose of it being a pyramid. That doesn't work. So I had to peel all of that stuff off. And now I was thinking, really, I was like, you know what? How am I going to get this done? I don't understand. I tried gluing the skulls. I tried gluing the bones. I tried wrapping it in wire. I don't know what I did wrong. So I just kind of collectively grabbed all the bones by the base of the, that's what she said, by the base of the plastic skull, and I had held the prop and I was like, you know what, this actually kind of works. This kind of looks like what I'm supposed to be doing. So I started wrapping things in wire, adjusting some of the things to make it look a little bit better, and then bam, I was like, wait a second, did I just do this? Did I just figure this out without trying? Because you get so far in a project, you have it in your mind and you're like, okay, this is what I want it to look like. I have never been so frustrated over the simplest solution in my life, but everything turned out wonderful. And now it looks like this. I'm really excited with the way it turned out, and I love the glowing effects to it. And I love the idea that chat can change the colors with the redeem, and it's phenomenal. If there's anything to learn from this, is that video game props are much easier to make in a 3D model than in real life if you don't have the resources. You know what? If I would make it again, I would do it definitely different. I would probably pick different tools. I would actually get probably power tools to even give me a 1-up, sandpaper, better glue. I would do maybe even screws just to make it a little bit better. Maybe spray paint it. Like, I would actually do the prop as like from start to finish instead of just kind of buying something and gluing it together to make it look like a prop. Everything turned out great, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching this far into it. And I am so thankful for you guys. Do you guys want to see it? You guys want to see what it looks like? Hold on, Eddie. So this is what it's gonna look like. I love that Ghostface is like right above it. But yeah, you can see the little candle that I put in there. All of these candles are electric, by the way, and they're run by a controller. I found these on Amazon. But yeah, so if you guys like the video, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy anything in the future, and I can't wait to see you guys again. And yeah, I hope you guys check out the stream on Twitch, and I hope you guys, if you like what you see, give me a follow and stuff, and I would greatly appreciate it. And for those who are new, I am planning on doing a cosplay stream at 50 YouTube subscribers, and we're going to be playing Five Nights at Freddy's for the first time. I'm terrified. I've always watched that game. I've never played it, so I'm like really nervous, and I'm anticipating the worst. So, but listen, it'll be a fun time. So if you like what you see, you know what to do. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Don't freak. Breathe. You got this. You're in control. He's behind you. Don't freak out.
You're in control. He's behind you. What kind of awful...